From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Russ Riesinger. A nationwide push is now coming to Billings. In light of recent high-profile crime cases, activists across America are calling on police officers to wear body cams. Well, now Billings police are the latest in Montana to strap them on and start recording. As Q2's Andrea Lutz reports, it's a tool they've wanted for years, but lack of storage stood in the way.
Billings police officers now have a brand new tool that they're working with. When they arrive on scene now, they're going to pull out this camera, hit this button, start rolling.
Never before seen footage straight from the chest of a Billings police officer. In this, you can see him throw spike strips onto the roadway.
A visual perspective from the officer.
He went off the road on the shoulder to get around spikes.
Now this footage can be used as evidence in a case, if need be.
The national narrative has been body cams to put on cops because they're doing stuff wrong. These body cams will far do better for our officers than it will damaging or create a viral video or catch a bad incident.
Officer Amanda McKnight has been wearing hers for 3 weeks now.
Just provides us with another vantage point of what we're dealing with.
The department purchased roughly 90 of them, budgeting $250,000 from CARES Act funding for the devices themselves and all the capacity to store the footage.
We've always had car cameras, backseat cameras of prisoner compartments.
However, Lieutenant Brandon Woolley says it was never from the perspective of an officer.
By and large, what it's going to really show now is the realities of the job and the great work that the officers of this department do for the community.
Officer McKnight says they can't possibly catch every detail.
It's not going to catch 100% of everything we're seeing. Obviously, officers are mobile. We can turn our heads, our eyes can move in different directions.
But when it comes to accountability, it helps.
The more help we get, the more help they get, to make sure that we're doing the right thing, but also wearing it so that when we're complained on or a complaint's made, it can validate that we did do the right thing.
And it gives the public a better eye of what actually goes on with our police force. In Billings, Andrea Lutz, MTN News.
Thanks, Andrea. Woolley says there will be an ongoing expense for the body cams. It will have to be addressed for the long term. It's something the police department will factor into its budget going forward. Just one day after the Billings Education Association said no to a mask mandate for teachers and other staff, School District 2 Superintendent Greg Upham announced today that masks will also be optional for students. That news delivered to parents and students early this afternoon, but the announcement does not mean that Upham can't change his mind if numbers start to climb. The superintendent took to his regular Facebook Live communication to relay the news. He says, although masks will not be mandated as the school year begins, the district will monitor numbers closely and will work closely with Riverstone Health. The county will do all of the contact tracing, but the district will send a letter to parents as soon as possible to let them know if their child could possibly have been exposed to a positive case. As the community watches this unfold, the superintendent reserves the right to change his mind.
We need to be prepared for everything and anything. If we see case counts go beyond what we term acceptable, I will call for a mask mandate. At that time, that is a prerogative of this office, and so we will use the tools that we have in place to assist with that and work from there.
This decision comes amid widely conflicting opinions across the community as parents, medical experts, and students air their beliefs. Today, the state confirms another 499 cases, pushing the number of active COVID-19 cases across Montana to 3,269. Yellowstone County added another 48 cases, bringing the county's total to 421 active cases. That's the third highest in the state. Flathead County has the most at 681 active cases, followed by Cascade County at 600. Well, the superintendent approached the Billings Education Association president yesterday, wanting to implement a mask mandate for all staff at the K-8 level. The union denied that request, but says it will highly encourage staff to wear masks. Upham also announced today the district has set up free testing at St. John's for all students, staff, and their families this year. Here's a look at the other large school districts across the state. Billings currently falls in line with Kalispell and Great Falls. Students in Missoula, Butte, and Helena will have a mask mandate as the year kicks off, and Bozeman has not yet reached a decision. The Tribal Public Health Conference wrapped up today in Billings. Q2's Brandon Warren was there to show us the special ending.
A healing ceremony was held at the Tribal Public Health Conference. The ceremony was aimed at healing the hurts left from countless missing, murdered Indigenous people.
There's such a disparity in the numbers of the Indigenous people that go missing and are murdered, not only in the state of Montana, but across the nation.
During the ceremony, they spoke of those who have gone missing or gotten murdered. They talked about their lives and how to help prevent future MMIPs.
All of the tribes are becoming, like I say, very active in it, and a lot of them now are starting to implement what's called a tribal community response plan to help alleviate and do a better response to any person that goes missing on a reservation.
They also wrapped up the conference, which lasted 3 days and focused on all aspects of tribal public health.
The conference was great. I think there was a great turnout. I think it was a time when people could share, build relationship, and as part of that sharing, they were able to get new ideas, ways in which we can help our communities and gain in public health and strengthen each other.
Organizers described the conference as a success. In Billings, Brandon Warren, MTN News.
Well, that conference included members from 8 different tribes throughout Montana and Wyoming. Now turning to Chief Meteorologist Ed McIntosh, and it's another streak, 2 straight days in which rain fell, but most of it was in a different area today.
That's right. Yesterday we talked a lot about Billings off towards the west. Today, basically Billings towards the east. Now, it was still around Billings and even over towards Bozeman. We picked up 2800s. Billings, about 5/600ths of an inch here over the last 12 hours. Livingston, 1500ths. And as we take a look across eastern Montana, that's really where we picked up some decent rainfall. 1.03 inches in Eaglelacca, 8800ths for you in Baker. Glendive, not that much, but almost 1/3 of an inch up towards Wolf Point. Now tonight, those showers are starting to shift back over towards Billings, towards the west, but watch as we take it through the evening and overnight hours of tonight. Here's future radar to give you an indication. Coming off the Bighorn Mountains around Sheridan and wrapping into the Beartooth, we could actually see some higher elevation snow and a really good chance of rain overnight right around the Billings area. Take a closer look at the forecast in a few minutes.
All the rain and cooler temperatures have helped Montana wildland firefighters when it comes to battling state flames. Currently, there are 57 active fires still burning in Montana, but that number was nearly 100 just last week. Only 2 of those fires have sparked in the last 24 hours. The state's largest fire remains the Richard Spring Fire between Colstrip and Lame Deer, but that fire is now 88% contained. The number 1 priority fire is the Thorn Creek Fire near Thompson Falls. Those flames have burned more than 38,000 acres, but have not been nearly as active over the last couple of days. Despite the positive direction, Governor Greg Gianforte warns Montana's fire season is far from over.
Wildfires have been very severe this year. We've seen over 800,000 acres burn. We have about 70 fires burning. We're so thankful for the rain, but we're not out of the woods yet. I would just encourage people to be safe when they're out. Secure your trailer chains, protect your property, and I'd just like to give a big shout out to our firefighters for the hard work they're doing.
It's estimated the state has lost 50 homes this year as a result of these fires. Montana's fire fund started at just over $100 million for the year, and as of now, the state has used nearly $40 million of that. Well, July proved to be a record-setting month at Yellowstone National Park. The park hosted more than 1,080,000 visitors last month, making it the most visited July on record. That number represented a 13% increase over last year and a 15% increase over 2019. It's also the first time in the park's history that it exceeded 1 million visits in a single month. So far this year, the park has hosted more than 2 million 668,000 recreation visits, which is up 16% from 2019 and the most since at least 2016. Town and Country Foods has seen a good first week since a soft opening last Thursday. Q2's David J. has more on the company's 7th store in the former Lucky's Market building.
The parking lot here at West Park Promenade is no longer empty. People are going into the new Town and Country Foods, and we did have a chance to talk with management and customers.
Oh, I'm impressed.
It's a lot of stuff here, so it looks good here.
Some like the idea of having a grocery store close to home.
A lot of friendly faces that are coming in. They're excited that they're here in their neighborhood. We got a lot of people that live in the area, so it makes it really nice for them to shop here.
This my little jaunt is just to come down here home in the afternoons. There's always been a grocery store at West Park. I go back to the early 60s when they built West Park.
There's a lot of good stuff here. Just got some produce and some healthy stuff that I've been looking for.
It's always interesting to see what new products are available at different stores. So, yeah, like I said, this is my first time here, so just wanted to see what was here and compare it to where I usually go.
Town and Country Foods is a Montana company, and some have seen the stores in other parts of the state.
We go to school in Bozeman, but we're here in Billings for nursing school. So we have a Town and Country in Bozeman, and we love it. It's cheap, food's good.
Yeah,
perfect for college students.
Yeah, the store's super nice. It's a lot more spacey, so there's just feels less crowded. She even was like, oh, there's a Town and Country, want to go there? We're like, yeah, let's go, because it saves us money.
Hopefully maybe this weekend we'll be out there roasting some hatch chilies. It is something that a handful of people have already told me, hey, are you going to do that? Because I used to do it in Bozeman, that kind of thing. And so we're going to be doing those kinds of things as we move forward.
The store is not complete, with more equipment on the way, and the grand opening is planned for September.
We had a lot of delays with some equipment and that type of thing. We got most of it put together. We thought it was time to open up and let people come take a look at us and purchase some things. And we're still in the process of trying to put a few things together.
We'll be back.
In Billings, David J., MTN News.
Thanks, David. Wade Anderson says management found workers with years of grocery experience and hired 76 people, which is 90 to 95% of the goal. Still to come on the MTN 10 o'clock news here on Q2. Help is soon on the way for Montana's rural communities. We'll break down a new $500 million grant and find out how that money will be used. Then a little later in sports, a former Magic City sports star coming back home. We'll tell you where the Golden Bear is headed in just a bit.